A lot of people believe that eating less is the pathway to being healthy, lean, and attractive. But I'm here to tell you that eating less is not better. In fact, understanding that under-eating for too long can actually destroy your metabolism, wreck your energy levels, and make it nearly impossible to lose body fat in the future is something that's very important to understand. In this episode, I'm going to break down why that happens, how your metabolism adapts to chronic under-eating, and what you can do to fix it. I'm also going to speak directly to women who have been under-eating for a while and have very slow metabolisms and teach them how to heal their metabolism so that they have the potential to lose body fat again. All right, I am wanting to challenge the mindset that eating less equals better. And I think this is something that hopefully nowadays in society is continually getting less and less prevalent, because I think that used to be something that was really big in the 90s, really big in the early 2000s. But regardless, some of that stuff is still seeping into our mindset today. I know that oftentimes, I can even almost find myself feeling that way, that eating less equals better, right? Because if we hear so much in health and fitness content and in recommendations about, we talk about calories, and it's important to understand calories, but it's important not to build a relationship with calories that always less calories equals better. And this impacts males and females, but I know that I see it a lot in female clients and just females in general, thinking I just need to eat as little as possible so I can be as skinny as possible. And skinny does not equal healthy. I really want to make sure I build that mindset into you. Skinny does not equal healthy. There are a ton of people out there who are very thin, quote, very skinny, but who are probably very unhealthy. They're not fueling themselves properly. They're not actually able to do physically fit things. They're not able to challenge themselves physically. They're not strong. They don't have endurance, that sort of things. A lot of these people are very malnourished and very metabolically weak. And they're actually probably setting themselves up for failure in the future metabolically. So I'm going to dive into how your metabolism works. If you've been under-eating, why that can be very harmful. And if you also have been under-eating, how you can actually restore your metabolism, making it so that you do burn more calories and can actually lose body fat in the future, because a lot of people who have chronically under-eaten have damaged their metabolism, making it very, very darn near impossible to lose body fat. And I want to teach you how to correct that. And ultimately, I just hope today helps you guys, if you struggle with that eating less equals better mindset, that this helps you eradicate that mentality. But before we do that, I want to invite you to join the Fat Loss Forever Workshop. Now, if you're listening to this on the day of the release of the episode, the Fat Loss Forever Workshop is today. There will be more in the future, but Wednesday, August 13th at noon. So if you're listening to this in the morning, great. Join us at noon by going to nickcarrier.com/fatloss. If you're missing it, then next week, we're doing the Build Your Intentional Life Workshop on Wednesday, August 20th at 5 p.m. Central Time, where we're going to talk about how to navigate and organize the chaos of your life in the 6 different areas of health, personal, career, financial, spiritual, and relational. And if you want to sign up for free for that, you can go to nickcarrier.com/intentional. We'll have both of those links down below in the show notes and the description. But for now, let's dive into the episode by talking about how your metabolism actually works. One thing that's really important to understand is that, unfortunately, it'd be really nice if our bodies were kind of designed to just look shredded. If our metabolism worked to I really want this guy to just look as strong as possible. But that's not the case, unfortunately. So our bodies were designed to survive. That's basically it. Our bodies were designed to survive. And so what does that mean? And as far as metabolism goes, is our metabolism is always trying to achieve homeostasis. And the definition of homeostasis is essentially the tendency toward a relatively stable equilibrium between interdependent elements, especially as maintained by physiological processes. And so what does that mean for our metabolism? Equilibrium. It means that our body wants to be able to burn the number of calories that it is used to intaking. So if it's used to intaking 2,000 calories, our metabolism wants to continually burn 2,000 calories. Now, as we live out our lives, we don't eat the exact same number of calories from one day to the next. It always varies. And so our metabolism is always kind of adapting to what its normal level of intake is, which is why this is really important to understand that undereating can be harmful, because how this ends up playing out in the real world is this. So let's say somebody, a typical person, eats around 2,000 calories, and that person, if doing that consistently, will then be burning 2,000 calories each day. If that happens day after day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, then their body weight's going to stay the same, because the calories out is equal to the calories in. Now, let's say that person all of a sudden starts to adopt the mindset of eating less equals better, eating less equals healthy, and they go on a very restrictive diet, let's say, and they start eating just 1,000 calories a day. So a huge caloric deficit of 1,000 calories per day. And to give you guys a little bit of context, if you are looking for a healthy, sustainable diet, then on a daily basis, your caloric deficit should maybe be 200 to 600. And so a 1,000 calorie deficit per day is huge, and it's not sustainable. But if somebody does that, where they have been burning 2,000 calories a day and all of a sudden they start intaking 1,000 calories, then they'll start losing weight. And they'll start losing weight probably relatively rapidly. But the downside of this is that they're going to be losing some muscle, and they're going to be setting themselves up for metabolic failure moving forward, because muscle is your metabolic engine and it allows you to burn body fat. So if you're losing the thing that allows you to burn body fat, then you're going to hurt your ability to lose body fat in the future. But the last thing I want to say on kind of this specific 1,000 calories in to 2,000 calories out is, like, you are in a calorie deficit. And so our body is like, man, we're not getting as much energy as we are accustomed to. And so we need to find that energy from somewhere and create the energy from somewhere. So that's where it goes into stored body fat and burns the stored body fat for energy, because it's like, wow, I'm not used to getting as much as I normally do. I need to make up for that deficit by going into stored body fat. So that's kind of how you begin to shed weight. But then over time, your body is like, whoa, I'm only getting 1,000 calories every single day, week after week, month after month. I need to adapt, because I need to be able to survive. And so I can't burn 2,000 calories a day forever if I'm only going to be getting 1,000 calories in. And so what happens is we undergo metabolic adaptation, which means our body will normalize, our metabolism will normalize down to burning just 1,000 calories a day. And so then you're eating 1,000 calories and just burning 1,000 calories. And so your body weight is staying the same. But 1,000 calories is such an insignificant, such a small amount of food. And so the moment that you start consuming more calories, even if it's just 1,400 calories, because you go on vacation, or because you go to a long wedding weekend, or whatever it might be, it's holiday season, then it's gonna make it so easy to put weight back on, because it's so easy to get into a caloric surplus because your metabolism is so low. And so this is what a lot of people end up putting themselves into, is they chronically undereat. And so if they chronically undereat, they will metabolically adapt down to only burning that amount of calories. Therefore, being in a caloric deficit is almost impossible, because you can't eat any less than what you're currently eating. And being in a caloric surplus is super easy, because all you have to do is eat a pizza, or have a few more alcoholic beverages, or go to a wedding weekend, or have vacation, or have the holidays to put yourself in a caloric surplus. And so that is why chronically undereating can be so damaging, because if you chronically undereat for years, then first off, you're not going to have very much muscle. So you're setting yourself up for metabolic failure in the long term. And then all it takes is for you to eat a little bit extra one day, 1 week, 1 month, for you to dramatically start putting on body fat back again. And so we don't want to do that. And so I think a lot of women out there, I want to make sure that you understand that it's not a good thing for you just to have a small appetite. It's not a good thing for you just to eat little amounts of food. That's not like cool. You might think, oh, I want to be skinny and thin, but I'm telling you, if you just eat small amounts of food all the time, you're setting yourself up for failure. Now, generally speaking, obviously, like, if you're just talking about the law of percentages, like, men are generally going to be individuals who should be eating more calories than women, just because generally speaking, most men are bigger than most women, but not all the time, obviously. Like if you're a woman who's very active and maybe taller and a little bit bigger, then of course you're going to be needing more calories. And so you don't want to think just I should have a small appetite just because I'm a female. Eating less does not equal healthier. Now, to kind of get into the transition into the part of this conversation that I want to get to of if you're, I don't know, late 30s, I mean, it could be even early 30s, 40s, or in your 50s, and you've been doing this, you've fallen victim to the eating less equals better, the eating less equals healthy, and your metabolism has been jacked. Your metabolism is very low, and you find it very difficult to lose weight, then what do? This is where you want to start doing kind of what oftentimes is referred to as a reverse diet. You want to start gradually adding calories back in. So let's say, for example, you were only eating 1,000 calories a day, very little amount of food. Maybe next week, you average around 1,050 calories or 1,000 or 1,100 calories per day. So you increase the amount of food that you eat a little bit, and you do that for a week or two. And then you increase by maybe another 50 to 100 calories per day for another week or two. And you do that slowly but surely over time so that you can restore your metabolism back up to where it really should be. And the reason why you want to do it slowly but surely is because if you do it slowly, then the caloric surplus that you're putting yourself in is very small, and therefore you're probably not going to be putting on excessive body fat or any body fat whatsoever during this period of time. Now, there's a lot of you who are listening to this who maybe if you are a chronic undereater and you realize the importance of wanting to restore your metabolism by maybe eating a little bit more, you're going to be worried about putting on weight. Two different things we want to do in order to ensure that doesn't happen, or it happens very minimally. One is, like I already said, increase your caloric intake slowly but surely. Maybe a 50 to 100 calories, or maybe 50 to 150 calories every other week. But again, 50 to 150 calories per day every other week. Then the second thing is just ensure that you're staying physically active. Ensure that you continue to get your workouts in. Ensure that you continue to get your steps in and you're physically active outside of your workout activity so that your NEAT is high. That way, when your calories in goes up, your calories out might also go up as well. So if you're somebody who's in maybe mid 30s, late 30s, your 40s, your 50s, or your 60s, and you're blaming the lack of ability to lose body fat on your age or your hormones, like of course those are going to play a role. There's no doubt about it. But it also simply might be because you've destroyed your metabolism and we need to find a way to restore it. And so if we want to restore that metabolism in a healthy manner, we increase calories slowly but surely over time. We increase our caloric expenditure by staying consistent with our workout routine, getting our steps in, by prioritizing protein and that sort of thing as well. So I hope you guys have learned just a little bit about metabolism and about this idea of metabolic adaptation. I hope you really understand that is you can influence the number of calories that you burn by the number of calories that you eat. And your metabolism, your body is working towards equilibrium. It's working towards homeostasis. And you have the power to influence what that looks like by the caloric intake that you have. And you don't want to set yourself up for failure by chronically undereating over time. So I hope more than anything, with regards to your relationship with nutrition and eating, it's not eating less is healthy. It's not eating less is better. It's fueling yourself appropriately with good nutrients in the right amounts for your body type, your activity levels, your age, etc. That's what's important to understand. And you can learn more about doing that at the Fat Loss Forever workshop later today, August 13th at noon, or in future workshops that we have. You can also join the Build Your Intentional Life workshop on Wednesday, August 20th at 5 p.m. Central Time. You can go to nickcarrier.com/intentional to sign up for that. But I hope you guys enjoyed today. I hope your mindset has begun to shift a little bit away from the damaging mindset of eating less equals healthy and eating less equals better. I hope you've learned about your metabolism and how you can optimize it over time. That way we can have healthy relationships with nutrition, with body image, more so over time. I hope today's episode helps you get closer to the healthiest version of yourself. And if you want to learn if you liked this episode, I'd recommend you watch this one next. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm pointing to that video. If you're listening, it'll be in the show notes in the description. But it's how to stop eating perfectly all day and then blowing it at night. I think it's a really great episode on how to implement some habits that don't wreck your progress that you've made in the evenings and mindlessly eat at night. So you can check that one out as well. But I hope today helps you get closer to the healthiest version of yourself. And ultimately, I hope it helps you get closer and closer to your best you.